Hey guys, and welcome to the Game Code. Stay a while and listen. I am your host, Adam Morehouse, and we've got an absolutely fantastic episode lined up for you this week. We have our very own Jocelyn and Ian here to talk to us about podcasting and gaming gear. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. Let's take a look. Join us as we recap the highlights of the 2014 Consumer Electronics Show, also known as CES. We kick off a new segment called Gaming Gear. Ian reviews the Sphero, a cool gadget that could redefine mobile gaming by turning your surroundings into a video game. Host of the Gamers Inn and the Angry Chicken, Jocelyn Moffat, sits down with us in studio to chat about podcasting and more. Let's not waste any more time. Let's go check out our CES 2014 recap. The Consumer Electronics Show, otherwise known as CES, is a yearly thing much like E3 except for the technology sector. Now, there are lots and lots of companies that show up to this thing every single year to show off their latest and greatest, but not just anybody gets to go there. No, the public doesn't get that opportunity. Only some press and the odd celebrity make it through the doors. Luckily, the internet exists, and us here at the Game Code did all the skimming for you. And not only that, but we did the skimming for the good stuff, the gaming stuff. So let's check out our CES 2014 recap. Valve announced that there are now 14 Steam machines in the lineup. Expected companies like Alienware, CyberPower PC, and iBuyPower are all in the mix, with other companies you might recognize like Gigabyte and Zotac rounding out the group. The prices vary drastically, ranging from $500, which is fairly reasonable, all the way up to an absolutely fever dream $6,000. As expected, the more expensive models wield more powerful hardware, and some are even available for customization. Perhaps most intriguing, however, is Maingear's offering, which you could very likely fit in your back pocket. They're using laptop gaming components and basically cramming it into one of the smallest form factors I've ever seen. Maingear's machine ironically stands out as most of the other companies compete to make full tower PCs small enough for the living room. Valve also put their latest controller iteration on the floor and talked about the development process so far. With a team of only about 6 people, industrial designer Claire Godchuk described it as a Black Ops team in action. Godchuk also talked about the challenges of making hardware for the first time and the struggles that they've been having with the current beta testers not actually giving them really harsh feedback. As it turns out, with Valve's absolutely sterling reputation among the eyes of their consumers, they're finding that testers are being too positive with their comments. Valve plans on opening the beta to some indie developers this year in hopes of getting some developer side input as to how the controller has been doing, with a hopeful year-end launch in 2014. Sony has announced that its Gaikai pickup that they made a few months back is finally going to pay off with a streaming service that will actually provide users with access to PlayStation 3, PlayStation 2, and PlayStation 1 titles. Strangely enough, the service is set to be rental or subscription based. But perhaps more unfortunate, however, is that the US is the only place where this is actually going to be launching, with no mention of if or when it will become available in other regions in the future.
I'm pleased to announce the new streaming game service, PlayStation Now. This service will, in the long term, provide existing PlayStation gamers with instant access to the games they loved from previous generations, from the original PlayStation, PS2, and PS3.
Razer showed off a really impressive project called Christine. It's a fully modular PC that will let you basically plug and play any and all of those top-of-the-line PC components your heart desires. Perhaps most intriguing is a consideration of a subscription model allowing you to have the newest parts mailed when available for a monthly fee, keeping your computer on the bleeding edge at all times. There's no announcement for a release date at this time, but it's probably pretty safe to say that this one is maybe a year or two away. The PlayStation Now service is definitely a really great way of solving their issues with backwards compatibility and not being able to emulate something like a PS3 on a PS4. The only issues that I have with the current information that we have in front of us is, of course, that it's only going to be available in the US, although that's technically always the norm. I just don't want to have to wait 5 years to have that available to me up here in Canuckville. Outside of that, having a subscription based every single month, great idea as long as you have access to the entire catalog, kind of like a Netflix deal. And a rental service makes just as much sense because at the end of the day, they have to look at this whole deal as a bandwidth payment as a company. And so this all makes great sense to me. It's also going to mean that 1, 2, and 3 in terms of the PlayStations, like we said, are going to be available all on one console to start, and actually 2 with the PS3. And to have that available on services like just a Bravia TV is pretty awesome as well, and is something that you can definitely look forward to, I'm sure, with other TVs and other services in the future. So overall, I like where it's going. I actually hope that Microsoft listens up and does the same on their end. They do have the largest freaking server cloud in the history of forever, so hopefully they'll put that to good use and have something for that as well, because I've really been jonesing for some Project Gotham Racing 2, and I can't get it anywhere else. Now, Project Christine. That is definitely something that everybody should be paying close attention to. Perhaps not because Razer might be the one to lead the whole pack, although it certainly looks to be that way right now, but because this could very well be the way that gaming PCs go into the future. Of course, what it would mean is that there wouldn't be this weird divide between people who are capable of building their own PC and those who cannot. It might cost a bit more still, but having a subscription base will make it look way more intriguing and interesting and, of course, affordable for people. And so moving forward with the whole expensive big block payments of $2,000, $3,000 for a bleeding edge PC, that won't be necessary anymore. Christine might just solve that problem. So what did you guys think of CES this year? You know my thoughts, but we want to know yours. Let us know on our Facebook page or send us a message on Twitter. Let us know what you guys think might flop and what you think might be an absolute success. I absolutely cannot wait for next year's CES. It's going to be fantastic, I'm sure. Don't go anywhere. After the break, Ian is going to introduce us to the Sphero in our brand new segment, Gaming Gear. Stay tuned.